Hi, I'm Kimberly Eck, the head football coach's wife at the University of New Mexico. This is episode 116 of the Talking Grammar podcast.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jeff Grammer with the Albuquerque Journal. And as you just heard, this is episode 116 of the Talking Grammar podcast. It's a fun one today. I'm excited about this one. Look, Lobo football season is here. After last week's showing in Michigan, they did lose 34-17, but a lot of Lobo fans are excited. A lot of curiosity peaking about this Lobo team and the new era of Jason Eck football. After, like I said, they lost 34-17, but they played well and they created some buzz. They certainly competed in the big house against a nationally ranked team and 110,000 fans screaming at them. So there's some curiosity, and I think maybe the best way to sort of peel back a layer that hasn't really been peeled back yet on that curiosity and is to get to know Jason Eck in a way that we haven't been able to really tell you guys yet. Since his hiring, Sean Ryder, colleague of mine at the Journal, has done a great job of letting you know about Jason Eck, the coach, and his history, his tendencies, the players, the roster, the coaching staff, all that stuff. But who knows Jason Eck better than today's guest, Kimberly Eck, the wife of Jason Eck, the football coach, and she's a fascinating woman, very active on social media. The role of the coach's spouse in college athletics, I don't think it's enough attention. It is a unique one. Lot of aspects to the coach's wife life that I think have always interested me, but I also think give a really good insight into the person of the coach. And I don't think we always do a good job of just as simple as it sounds, maybe oversimplified. I don't think we always do a good job of remembering that the coaches we watch on TV, the players we watch on TV, the people down there on the field, they're people too, right? They're not just these figures. They're not just a coach. They're not just a player. And I think sometimes personifying them and telling their stories a little bit is what creates a connection that I think really just makes following a sport, following a team, all that more interesting to me anyway. So that's what we're doing today. I do think Kimberly Eck, first of all, I do thank her for doing this and agreeing to do this. She is active on social media. I do think some of you guys probably already follow her. And if you don't, you should. She's on Instagram. She's on X. I also will make my usual plug. Please follow all our content on the Albuquerque Journal, abqjournal.com/sports. If you want to get directly to the sports content, high school sports, college sports, all that kind of stuff, you can follow us there. abqjournal.com/subscribe is where you can help local journalism. Subscribe to our print product, our digital product, whichever one you can. Helps us out with all this coverage. And that includes Lobo football, Lobo basketball, all that good stuff. Lobo basketball, by the way, starts practice just later this month. We're in September now. So interesting time where football's getting up, basketball's about to get going, and of course high school football and high school spring or fall sports rather, just in full gear right now. James Yotis is covering all that. So glad you're along for the ride. Let's talk to Kimberly Eck, the wife of Jason Eck, Lobo football coach, and try to get to know this new era and the first family, if you will, of Lobo football. Kimberly, look, this is an interesting one for me and the Talking Grammar podcast because I have not had a coach's wife or coach's spouse on before, and it is something that I'm not just saying because you're on the show. I've said it in past podcasts with coaches and assistant coaches. The coach spouse or the coach wife life is one that I don't think gets enough attention, and it's one that fascinates me because, frankly, you guys put up with a lot of crap. you guys deal with a lot.
I so appreciate you saying that, and thank you so much for having me.
You guys, first of all, you've been here since what? Well, I guess he was hired in December. When did you get to Albuquerque?
We came out for the press conference in December, and then he came out, I want to say January 2nd. We moved April 1st.
Okay. A lot of school to finish, I would imagine, too.
I've done it a number of different ways. I've let them finish school till the end of the school year. This time I thought it was best just to move them out right away. I have 5 children, but my third born, Palmer, we just knew he was in 8th grade. I want him to kind of settle into the Albuquerque school district and then get acclimated and get to know some kids before high school started.
And if I'm not mistaken, your youngest has just started kindergarten.
She did, and that's been such an emotional roller coaster for me just because it's kind of my last leaving the house. And funny enough, my husband said to me, he goes, "Well, it's not like she's leaving for college," but for me, it was emotional just because I don't have any more babies at home.
Look, I'm with you. I have two daughters. One is I have a weird gap between the two where one's 15, she'll be 16 next month. And I have she's now 6, but she just started kindergarten herself. And it's tough, man. Like I coincidentally, and it's pretty rare that this happens, but coincidentally, both times our daughters went to their daycare for the first time, I took them and my wife had something to do. She had something else she had to be at. So I took them by myself both times, and I cried both times when I took them to daycare and kind of left them there and just saw them for the first time. Now, kindergarten, I didn't cry, but it's still emotional just watching them walk away with the backpack on their shoulders.
It's just kind of a surreal moment because you feel like I had her the COVID year of football, so we ended up playing. We were at South Dakota State. We actually played football
Yeah.
over, like, I always thought, oh, great, I'm going to have a March baby. It's not going to be, her birthday won't be affected through football, but guess what? It did.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, COVID changed everything, but yeah, it also changed the calendar for football a little bit.
And it just feels like that year was so different. And it does feel like her leaving for kindergarten just was like, I'm not ready. She's ready, but I'm not ready.
Yeah, our daughter's been great. But yeah, the COVID babies, they had a unique life too. People don't think about, but yeah, if you had a baby, a little one during COVID, and you're just everyone's around so much at that time, it's just a little different for them. So, but it's also different for us parents too. Um, tell people you said you have 5 kids. What are the ages?
Our oldest is almost 23, has a birthday coming up next. He actually was in a fraternity at the University of Idaho where we're at. And when we were all like, we're leaving, he just decided, you know what, I'm going to business school. They have a great business program, and he transferred. So I love that he kind of just was like, you're not leaving me behind. And then Jackson, who is 20, he is a linebacker for UNM football, which is so
Yeah, I
proud.
think a lot of
Great.
Lobo fans are going to get to know him pretty well, and I think a lot of Michigan players got to know him pretty well on Saturday.
So proud of him. And then our next is a freshman at La Cueva High School. His name's Palmer, and he's a quarterback. He is 14. Then Maverick, he actually turns 10 on Friday. So I want him to tell his dad, I want for my birthday a win on Saturday.
There we go. There we go.
And Lola are only girls. We had 4 boys, and then our last is a little girl. She's 5 and in kindergarten. So
So two of the son or two of the children, then the daughter and the one starting high school got to, I guess, the 8th grade to starting high school, and then the starting kindergarten. Maybe the transition wasn't as hard on them. I don't really know, but because they were going to be changing schools anyway. But some of the transitions you guys have had, like you mentioned, I mean, have been in the middle of school years or over the summer, and that's got to be hard. And I'm curious if you think there's a best way, like if you were telling another coach's wife, like what the best way is, or is it just all feel and it all changes? Like, what's the best way to transition a family when the coaches, especially in football, are in the middle of a school year when that transition happens?
I feel like it's know your family, and I personally believe we've taken every move at the time looking at our family dynamic. So I would say for this move, I wanted to move immediately, just
Yep.
knowing we have a son that's going to be a freshman the next year at high school, which is a tough time to move.
Yep.
I want to get acclimated and like meet some friends before high school starts. And then we've had other times, my son Jackson, when my husband got the first, he was the head coach at Idaho, he had that job, or he got that job. I decided I'd stay back, let him finish his football season in South Dakota, and
Mhm.
then we moved this football season. So for that, probably I would say the toughest transition because
Was
we
it?
lived 11 months apart, and I would go to my son's Friday night games. I'd have a bag packed, get home at 11:30, wake up at around 4, throw my bags in the car quick, head out to, I'd go drive an hour to Sioux Falls Airport. Then I would fly to Colorado, then fly to Spokane, Washington, then drive 90 miles to see my husband's home game. So I made every one of my son's home games and then every one of my husband's home games at Idaho. And I honestly felt like numb almost just from like the chaos of just trying to juggle it all.
I'll bet.
But heartbeat, just because I thought he was a captain in high school, senior, who's being heavily recruited in South Dakota, that I just couldn't take that away from him. So I do it all over again.
5 kids born in how many different states?
5 kids born in all different states.
So all 5 of them were in different states.
Firstborn was born in Colorado, and then Jackson was born in Idaho, which was extra special because then he played at Idaho.
Right.
So it was my husband's first assistant job. He was the offensive line coach. He was born there and then came back to play there. And then, let me see, kids. Palmer was born in Indiana, Muncie, Indiana, when we were at Ball State. Maverick was born in Bozeman, Montana, so his name is Maverick Montana. And then our daughter Lola, she was born at South Dakota when we were at South Dakota State, so at Brookings, South Dakota, so we named her Lola Dakota. We ran out of family names, so we just started adopting.
That's pretty cool. All right, let's get into the juicy stuff. Let's get to know Jason Eck a little bit and how you got to know Jason Eck. Well, you're from Wisconsin. Is that right?
We met in college. I met him, which would be a typical Wisconsin thing, at a bar. And it wasn't like a college bar. It was kind of one of those like old town soft, like a bar in the summer where like guys that play softball go to. I just love their cheese curds, which is like a big thing in Wisconsin. And they had really good margaritas there. And my friend and I were just happened to go out that night. It was a Wednesday night, and my husband was the bouncer. So I saw him and I told my friend, let's sit over there. I'm going to chat him up. I'm not going to ask for his number, but I'm like dying to know him. So we talked most of the night, and then he asked for my number on his like business card. So it was like he was a graduate assistant at the time, but I didn't even know he was. So oddly enough, before he asked me for it, I told him he chewed gum like a coach, which was just like a funny story because I always think of like, I feel like he like loved that part. It was almost like you had me at hello and like Jerry Maguire.
And the chewing gum like a coach, some people may not even, what does that mean? People who've seen coaches a lot, they got their own gum chewing. They do. Without question. I can picture it in my head. You used to do a blog. I don't know if you still do a blog or if you'll go back to it, but you said, and I'm gonna read from your blog here. What can I say? I'm a sucker for a guy with dark curly hair, blue eyes, and a whistle.
Yeah, right. And maybe a visor too, because I always tell him he has such great covered up with a baseball. Wear a visor. So he wears a visor for me, which I think is really sweet.
That's funny. That's cute. Look at that. And I know you've referred to offensive linemen as big old teddy bears. I listened, like I said, I listened to that other podcast with you, and you had referred to offensive linemen. I got to tell you, you're not helping stereotypes of Wisconsin when you meet them in the bar. You like the cheese curds. Look, even the offensive lineman part. I mean, Wisconsin football is known for offensive linemen. Like this is every stereotype that you can think of. Like you fell under that. The cheese curds meet at a bar, football.
I probably have the Wisconsin accent going. I'm sure people know
You got it. You absolutely. In New Mexico, we can hear it. You might not even hear it. Well, so let me ask you this, because I'm born and raised in New Mexico, and I can recognize that New Mexicans have a little bit of an accent. I can recognize it from northern New Mexico to southern New Mexico, a difference to me. But is there a New Mexico accent that you've heard here?
I don't feel that. And I almost feel like I talk the same, but then people know right away. Oh, when I say I'm from Wisconsin,
Yeah,
yeah, I hear it.
that's awesome. All right, tell us something about Jason that made you, after getting to know him, made the two of you click.
I think I'm a very independent person, which is, I think, almost a need for a coach's wife in general, just because I do my own thing. But then I also completely support him 100%. I think he loves how much that I'm passionate, just like he's passionate for our players' families. It's really our football family. I mean, when I'm getting a message from our quarterback's mom and I'm seeing her before the game, that's everything because it's connecting with the players. And I think I just love and appreciate my husband so much because it's not about money or how hard it's going to be. It's about connecting and making a family. And that's why I always do like hashtag football family because it's everything. Like if we hear like, I recently had a mom reach out about one of our players' uncles passing away. I want to like reach out and make sure that they're taken care of or that they're loved. And I know my husband's that exact same way. Um, Being there for them. Like our quarterback got hurt. That's our quarterback here at UNM. He got hurt when we were at Oregon
Yeah.
last year. He battled. It was such a great game, and he broke his collarbone at the end of the game. And I almost treat that like my son. Like I was frantic at the game against Michigan. Like, please just have everyone healthy. It's just kind of a feeling like you have not just your family, but another family that you're worried about and taking care of.
Well, you probably were biting your nails then, or maybe not bite. You may not be a nail biter, but like you were probably nervous because Jack took a beating.
Yes, he really did. And he's such a tough kid and just such a great family. I just love the Lane family.
All right, let me ask a little bit more about you. Then you have a fashion marketing degree. Is that correct?
That's why the Beauty Babes and Ball, my blog that you talked about, like, I feel like I have to like wipe the dust off of it because I don't get to do as much as I would like to with writing, but I'm just so busy with like kids and that it's kind of like that's just for fun. My husband and my family are everything and just making sure that I'm there for them, especially in this profession because he works such long hours that I be that support system for everyone. So that to me is like my number one job. So the blog is kind of like, well, it's extra time. I miss it sometimes, but I know I'm doing what I need to do right now.
Well, you obviously, I mean, you're talking to a guy who's a t-shirt and plaid shirt at games, jeans kind of guy, but you obviously have a fashion sense that I would say might be considered a little better than mine. How you had the nails done. You had your son's number on there. Fashion's a big part of your. Look at you. You got it right there. Like obviously fashion is important to you, but also like incorporating it into the team and into the Lobos. How important is your I don't want to say your look like it's important as the coach's wife, but your fandom and passion obviously kind of comes through with the way you show up to games.
I feel like that's a lot, and probably it's because of my background being a fashion marketing student. I feel like it's like feel good, look good, all good vibes for the game. And I feel so nervous before the game and just a lot of emotions. Now having a son playing, my husband's
Yeah.
the head coach, and all, just wanting everything to go well. That if I like take time to put the effort in to feel good on game day, it means a lot. And I love a good turquoise cowboy boot. So
I saw those. Those are nice. And the turquoise here, people love the turquoise. You can't overdo the turquoise and just wear it all the time. It's got to be kind of special, like with the jerseys, but they're bringing them back for football. They only do them for basketball like once a year, but people love it when they do. The little hint of turquoise, it used to be a bigger piece of the color scheme at UNM way back in the 70s, and they're slowly bringing it back now, and I think people are just eating it up. They love it. The hint of turquoise is a nice touch.
actually, like even right now, my bracelets are turquoise. I love like a touch of turquoise. I think it's up.
All right. You get more nervous when you watch your sons play or when Jason is coaching?
That is a really good question. I think both just as much on different levels. So now that my husband and my son are together, it's like even more emotional. So I even messaged one of our coaches' wives before the game at Michigan. I said, I think I'm the most nervous I've ever been. Just new place, big, obviously playing at the most amazing stadium. I mean, that place was iconic.
Yeah.
Just a lot of emotions going on. My son's first game at the University of New Mexico, a lot of different things going on in my head for sure.
What kind of fan are you? People sitting around you, are they going to hear Kimberly the screaming? Come on, refs! What are you talking about? Are you quiet and just so focused in you don't want to say a word? I know you're superstitious, and I'm going to ask you about a couple of those. But what kind of fan at the game are you?
I'm a little in the middle. I try not to be questioning refs calls. I will say I used to be, my husband, before he was the head coach, and he was just the O coordinator. I was the one that, like, when the defense was out, would like leave to like go to the concessions or take a child to the restroom. But now I feel like now I have to wait till halftime, which stings because you're like in a long line. But now my son's out there, so I got to be like there all the time. And no, even my son Palmer at his game for La Cueva High School last night, and my daughter was like, "I have to go potty." I'm like, "Just wait, he's almost done, and then we can go." But yeah, I just feel like I get pretty riled up. One thing that I kind of get annoyed if people don't do this is standing up on third down and making a lot of noise. I think that is, you just do it. And I had a head coach's wife when we were at the University of Idaho for the first time, Julie Holt, and her husband's Nick Holt, but I'm just so close with her still. And I even told her, like, I live like, what would you do? I always cherish different previous head coaches' wives I've been around because I've taken a little something from everyone and appreciate them all. But she would look at us if we were not standing up on third down, like, what are you doing? You stand up and you make some noise. So that is one thing I was trained well by her. I still do. And I get annoyed, especially with a son that's a linebacker.
Well, I happen to know Nicole a little bit, not on a personal level, but I had covered New Mexico State. I was a sports editor in Las Cruces, and I did go. I am the Aggie covering the Lobos. I graduated from NMSU, but I actually was sports editor down in Las Cruces a year that Nick's Idaho team went to Las Cruces and beat them on the last second play. Nick Holt, there was a dog pile in the end zone. Last play of the game, they beat NMSU, and there was a dog pile that he went and joined in on, and he jumped in there. And he's an intense guy, so I imagine his wife was making sure that everybody else knew the protocol on when to stand up and show your fandom as well. Like I can see that in her, and I have no idea who she is. So
Actually regularly call her the GOAT because I think I learned so much from her. It was our first time, like that was my husband's first assistant job, and I just soaked it all in, like learned so many things, and I feel like I'm still learning. Like, what would I do differently, or how can I be better to support our coaches' wives? Just anything I can do. So.
it's a unique job too, because it is, a little bit in the public eye, obviously, but it's also like it is your life. Like football is, it is your life. Your sons are playing it. Your husband obviously is making a living doing it. So I imagine through the years you've gotten to know it pretty well. How much did you know football before you and Jason, started dating and then got together?
I love this question because my family was big Badger basketball fans. So I
What's that?
never some football games, barely ever. And then here I am dating him. He's a graduate assistant. And I feel like I slowly just got into it more and more throughout the years, but now I'm like diehard. I love it. Like we have a whole like closet in our house, which is like football serving dishes. Everything's football now.
Down to the dishes. That's funny. All right. After a game, how often by now Is there a quiet period? Is there a rest time before you talk to Jason about the game or your thoughts? Do you give him your thoughts? Do you back off and not? Like, what is your feedback after a game, and how well do you, like, maybe even ahead of a game, like, hey, I think you guys should really do this? Are you to that level yet where you probably called the trick play the other night at Michigan, right?
I wish I did. I love this question because I'm sure every coach's wife is a little different. I feel like my job is just to support my husband. So I'm just an ear. I'm an ear when he wants to vent about something if he asks me what I think about the game, I'll give him my feedback. But I just listen first and let him. The only thing I said after Michigan, though, I'm like, I left that place so happy, thinking we battled, we played well, we were disciplined, it was amazing, and just our amazing fans coming up to us and just being so appreciative. So yeah, I definitely feel him out first and then try and decide what I want to say or
Yeah.
just be here, listen.
The post Michigan reaction is interesting to me, and it's something he brought up even before I asked it. I knew Tuesday I was going to ask something related to this, and I kind of mentioned at the press conference that I didn't want to feel like the wet blanket and just kind of push down everybody's good emotions. But it was a 17-point loss, right? And you're talking about how good you felt leaving there. Everybody felt that. Everybody was excited. But when you're trying to build a culture with a bunch of young men on the team that are we have expectations that winning are part of them, and this and that, like it's a delicate balance to take too much pride in any loss, right? And at the same time, how could you not leave that stadium that night feeling pretty good about what Lobo football just did? So I'm curious how much that battle in his own mind, maybe if he talked about that with you at all, that we don't want them thinking they won when they didn't, because you're trying to teach them that the culture is about doing a little bit more than they did.
Exactly. I love it because even my son said, I'm like, oh my gosh, you had such a good game. And he's like, I can be better. And I feel that that's the culture of our program. Like, I think all the players play with their whole heart. And I feel like when I got on that bus and talked to my husband, I said to him, I can't be any more prouder. And I think he was proud. He's a little quiet. And of course, he's like watching film the whole way home. But
Even on as quickly as the bus, he was already watching film on the bus. Was he looking at stuff on the bus already?
on the plane, the whole plane ride, I slept a little. I was tired.
I I am a little curious after a game like that. Obviously he was proud. Excuse me, he was proud, but did he mention how some of that pride, some of that Wisconsin pride, maybe when they booed him at the end because he called the timeout at the very end, and they were booing a little bit. Like, part of me thinks like he loved that.
I think he did. I actually Twitter a picture of him. It kind of cracked me up, but I think he knows all that. I would say though, I was so blown away how sweet everyone with like the workers at Michigan helping us navigate like to different areas from the tailgate right to the stadium. Such a class act place. So I only got one comment on Instagram that was kind of rude from a Michigan fan, but I'll just let that go.
Just one. That's pretty much a win. Um, I am, as we sort of wind this down here, I'm going to ask you about some pregame superstitions. I want to go back to the family. While I'm thinking about it, this goes back to the family life that I really wanted to ask. Is there a more protected girl in all of New Mexico than your daughter, with four older brothers and a football coach? And I'll bet you, like, I've seen you post family pictures, and I'll bet you those big brothers protect her like crazy.
They love her because I said she changed the whole dynamic of our family because it was always like the boys, and now it's, well, we got a new addition here. But I think they kind of fight over like who's her favorite, but then they also, as four brothers would, give her a lot of like teasing, and so she's tough. I love it.
You guys are also, and we talked about this before I hit record. I'm going to bring it up too, but I'm just in love with Bluey. I love that show, and I know you guys are a Bluey family a little bit too. Do all the boys watch Bluey a little bit too?
They probably do. I love it because there have been times when, with Jason's job, that I have to travel with him, maybe for some event. And a lot of times our older sons will help out. And I just love that because I don't have to hire anyone. They just like, I'm like, I'll feed you, I'll fill the fridge, just like take care of her. And they're good with her. And she's most comfortable with that. But they'll sit and watch it with her. I will say I love the show. So.
Bluey's the best. I love Bluey, and you did mention sometimes you have to go on something. I noticed you went to, if I'm not mistaken, you went to Media Day. You were able to go to Media Days in Vegas. There was one other trip I'm going to mention again, just because that other podcast you mentioned, you as a family didn't have to go on vacations because you guys moved so much, but you did just have an anniversary. You went out to Hawaii, so congratulations on the anniversary. So there you go.
Obviously, as an assistant's wife, it's really hard because a lot of times those moves were a year or two at a place. So the head coach is let go, everyone's let go, and they kind of call it like clean house. So those were hard years because my first two sons had to move around a ton, whereas my last few don't have to move around because we're more stable. So my heart always goes out to assistant coaches' wives, and I always reach out to ones that are going through that. And that's why I started that blog. So it's a really tough situation, and people don't understand how hard that is to move around a lot like that.
All right, back to football. Superstitions. Do you still wash your car before every game?
Okay, so this is a funny story. It would have been a week ago yesterday, someone rear-ended me on Paseo. And so I was told not to watch. I have like a membership. I think it's Champion Car Wash. I was told not to go to the car wash because it's not like, you don't want anything to get disrupted. So I just had an insurance call about it and I have to take it in for pictures. But normally it's always wash. I might just like spot clean it or something myself. But wash the car on game day, and then I have University of New Mexico flags already ready for game day.
I don't want to put this on you and make you overthink this, but you're telling me you did not wash your car before the Michigan game?
I think I have to. Well, it's always home games. No, it's more, I never go away only because I don't know why I feel like it's different, but I feel like I'm going to the stadium. I want my car to look good. I don't usually do it away games. That's just been but now I feel like I need to go through and chance it that everything will be okay.
We'll revisit this after Saturday's game against Idaho State.
My champion, because I said, look, they told me not to go through the car wash, but I might just do like a quick through and then put my flags up. People will know because I was rear-ended pretty bad. Thankfully, no one was hurt.
That's good to hear. Superstitions otherwise. What do you does Jason have any superstitions? Does the family have any, or you want to reveal Jackson's superstition that he listens to, I don't know, Taylor Swift before a game or something like that?
I know my husband's very superstitious. I think that's trickled down onto me a little bit more. I am big on, so these are my nails from last week. I'm going to go and just because I don't need them done. I just need a polish change, it's called. So I'll probably do something different just because it's a new game, new week. That's the new thing I do. We always have lunch together on a Thursday before the game. So we're going to have lunch together today. So last week, we will not eat at the same place that we ate at the week before. We change it up. And if we win this week, same place.
All right. I guess that's probably it on the superstition. Well, does the family at large have any superstitions? Do you guys do something all together that is there a family? It's kind of hard with that many, especially when they're in college now too. But is there a big family dinner together that you guys try and do or anything like that?
It's a little hard with our family being such different age groups, especially two in college, and then my son with his football schedule. We just one thing that I always do before a game is I do a group text for my son and my husband, just letting them know I'm going to cheer hard. I always try and do that before the game. And usually it's like, if we're away, it's on the bus. Yeah, and then I just try and seek them out immediately on the field after. But I'm big on home games. I'm not sitting in the box, or I want to be with my kids, front and center, watching the team and cheering on with the fans.
Outside, I know there's some more club level seats that you could get to and all that stuff, but you will be outside and visible.
Yeah, I love it. Why not?
All right. I guess the other question I would have is, I guess going into this home game, how well do you know Albuquerque yet, and how well do you know this Lobo football program? And you know a little bit of the history. Obviously, they're starving for a winner, and I think that's why maybe Michigan was what it was. That they competed, and so they just bought in fans so much. But like, what are your expectations for this program and sort of coming to Albuquerque? Is this something that you can see being, obviously things change all the time. You know that as a coach's wife, but is this something you can see being a successful long-term kind of stint here?
100%. When we moved here, I was just blown away by the community. So much support, so much love. And we've lived in a lot of small towns. So this is much bigger than we're used to for me. I was just blown away by the community being so supportive. The kids in public schools, the principal was just amazing. Everyone was just fantastic. But I believe in my husband for sure. That he's doing this for the players and for our Lobo Nation. But I feel like he genuinely puts his heart and soul into his team. And just seeing what we did at Idaho, I mean, when he got the job there, it went from like, I think they won 3 to 4 wins the previous year, and we went to the playoffs the next year. He lives and breathes trying to make things better. And we often joke that he's the head coach for the University of New Mexico, but I'm the head coach here because I handle everything, like all the different, oh no, our garbage disposal, oddly enough, didn't work when I was about to fly out to Michigan. So I had someone come quick to help me fix it. Like I just have to handle that stuff, and I never want to bother him with a lot, just because he has his role and I have mine, and we're supportive of each other. So, but I believe 1000%. I love our Lobos, and I'm just so fired up for the season. I'm so fired up for a first home game.
That's awesome. I know they're obviously just dying for a winner with football, and it is important. On these podcasts, I sometimes have somebody else kind of tell me something about that day's guest. I didn't do that with you, but I'm going to use you as a scouting report for Jason, and I'm going to ask you two really obvious questions, or not obvious. One of them's obvious. Is what is one thing everybody should know about Jason Eck?
Well, I think it kind of speaks for itself, because I think you can tell that when you see him on social media, but he's just so passionate about his team and loving his players. And I think that's why he's been successful. And we've definitely had bumps in the roads, but I believed in him 1000% because his heart and soul just lives and breathes, his team, and he just loves Lobo football.
The other question then is, what does almost nobody, as well as you know him, you're one of the few, what is one thing that almost nobody knows about Jason Eck?
Jeez, that's an interesting question. I probably tease him a lot, and he'll probably die if I say this, but I feel like he thinks he's a great dancer. I don't think he's a great dancer. And he kind of has the same dance, like we're at a wedding. It's like the same dance. So like I've done it for him. Like, I know your dance. That's who you are. But and that's the funny thing about us. We just tease each other, and that's why I love him, because we just have a lot of fun together behind the scenes. We're not over the top people. We just love to have a good time and poke fun at each other. That's our family. We poke fun at each other all the time, every day.
Yeah, sometimes trash talk can be the love language of a family.
Like our son, different team with one's a Vikings fan, Packers fan, Bears fan, and Lions fan. So there's trash talking every Sunday.
Well, I can tell you, my grandfather, both have passed, but my grandfather is from St. Paul, Minnesota, a huge Vikings fan. My grandmother's from De Pere, Wisconsin, and was a huge Green Bay Packers fan. And they, my grandma and grandpa kind of built it into our family because of that trash talking. Our whole family talks trash now. Just that's our love language is teasing each other.
I'm a Vikings fan and Jax is a Vikings fan, but our youngest little boy that turns 10 tomorrow, he's a Lions fan. And he became a Lions fan because we're like, well, let's just make the whole unit NFC North here.
There you go. All right. Kimberly, I really do. I appreciate you coming on and doing this and letting people get to know you a little bit. I will say this. I had asked you beforehand. I'm going to bring it up now. You are too nice to, it doesn't bother you if people call you Kim or Kimberly, but I am calling you Kimberly because you have a slight preference towards Kimberly. Is that fair?
Kimberly since I've been married, and I feel like Kim X sounds like one word. I don't know why, it just bugged me, but my whole family calls me Kim, which if someone calls me Kim, I'd never correct them because I'm just not that person. But Kimberly Eck just seems better. So since I what I prefer, but I would never correct anyone ever.
All right. Kimberly Eck is what I will try and remember instead of Kim Eck, but not that it's going to bother you too much. Hey, you guys got a big game this weekend. I know you got a big Thursday lunch coming up now that I'm going to let you get to. I do appreciate you doing this. I think Lobo fans are really going to appreciate this as well. And they can follow you on social media. And we're about to get to know exactly what kind of fan you are at home games. And we'll have to revisit next week if the washing the car or the getting the new polish. We'll have to revisit all that. If things go good or things go bad this weekend, we're revisiting all of this.
Love that. I'm definitely doing new polish, and now just because you said it, I think I'm gonna car wash and change.
Well, it's a home game.
I mean, you got to keep it rolling, right?
You're awesome. Hey, Kimberly, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. It was so much fun.
All right, there you go. There's my conversation with Kimberly Eck, the wife of Jason Eck, Lobo football coach. And hope you enjoyed that. I had a good time doing that. So thank Kimberly Eck for doing that. Lobos do play this Saturday against Idaho State. And they, like I said, represented themselves really well last week at Michigan, even in a loss. And I think a lot of fans are excited and a little curious about this new era of Lobo football. So hopefully this conversation with Kimberly Eck got personified it a little bit, right? Made it more of a guy on the screen and all that. It is a person, it is a father, it is a husband, it is a family, and maybe you get to know that family just a little bit more now because of this conversation. So hope you enjoyed it. If you can, support local journalism. abqjournal.com/subscribe is where you can go to subscribe to our print edition or our digital edition or both. And follow all our coverage, not just sports. Obviously, plenty of news coverage, an election coming up, politics, all that good stuff, business world. We got you covered. We're doing a lot of good stuff at the Albuquerque Journal. I am proud right now to be a journalist at the Albuquerque Journal. And if you can help support local journalism, it's important. And I ask that you do so. So until next time, I'm glad you're here on this episode of the Talking Grammar podcast. And thanks for joining us, guys.